May we now request the gracious presence of Dr. Zenia Gupta ma'am's thought-provoking insights.
A very good morning to all of you. First of all, I would sincerely thanks Lisa ma'am for calling me here, and she made me a part of this very, let's say, uh, enticing journey of students towards garnering knowledge and developing insights into various aspects of life. Thank you, Lisa ma'am, for having me here. This is a very big moment for the students who are going to take up new positions, leadership positions. It is going to be a phase of their life where they are going to learn something different from what you get in books. So leadership is never taught in books. And I take this particular opportunity to tell the students and also the parents who are accompanying them to share just a few things that I learned, which I never learned in any book. I never learned it in any school or college. I learned it when I was on the job. So the number one thing that I experienced when I came into real life, I joined the civil services, was you have to develop relationships. You have to develop social relationships. You have to develop, let's say, contacts. You should know more and more people. You should keep on meeting more and more people. You should go for getting a membership of associations because that helps. You don't know when and where, in what part of your life, somebody you know will help you. And correspondingly, you should help others. So every time a person is coming to you and seeking your support for a particular thing which you can do, please help them out. These relationships will take you forward, whether it's your career or your personal life. These relationships will actually make you a good leader. Number two is, when we are in a leadership position, we get instances whereby there is a lot of pressure. And a good leader is the leader who stays calm in such pressure. So you get those situations where your staff or your subordinates are looking up to you to guide you. And if you show those panic moments, they will feel more panicked than you. So personally, for me, a good leader should have a calmness around him. He should be able to develop that feeling that everything is fine no matter what. So in my professional life, we've had several instances, crowd management gone wrong. There's a sudden surge in crowd for Diwali, Holi, and we never expected that. Now what to do? So people look up to you. How to plan a train, how to make sure that at that particular platform, the crowd doesn't go out of hand. How to ensure that people line up and there is no ruckus at the platform. So when I was handling such emergency situations, I realized that if I panic, my staff will panic more. And when you are in a panic situation, solutions never come. So leader has to be a person who maintains that state of calmness before taking any kind of decision, so that whatever solutions you give are actually the right solutions. During my tenure in Ratlam, I got the opportunity to manage Sinhast Mela. So as you all know, it's a very big thing. So this Mela is held every 16 years. And there is a lot of crowd, number of devotees coming throughout India to Ujjain to visit the temple. And that was one occasion where such instances of not knowing when and what will came. But we were able to handle it so well not a single, let's say, misplanning happened during that time, just because of clarity in decisions, of knowing what to do and when to do, and a certain calmness in situations whereby we didn't know that it was coming. Number 3, when we talk about leaders, leaders are never born overnight. Leaders are born over a period of time which involves a lot of discipline. So every leader, if you talk about their personal lives, will have a very clear-cut schedule of when to get up and when to go to sleep, and everything in between. They keep time for their personal fitness. They keep time for their family. They keep time for their work, of course. And they also keep time for their hobbies. Now, when I expand on this, the next thing that comes is time management. So everybody is busy, right? So every time you take a higher position, you say, I am busier than what I was actually before. Obviously, a lot of new responsibilities get added up as soon as we take higher positions. But that does not mean that the balance goes haywire. This balance is decided by the leader himself. The leaders set priorities. They know that 1 hour for personal fitness is a must. We will never give up on a good mind and a good body, because that helps you ultimately in giving your best output. A leader will never give up on not thinking about their family or spending family time, because they are also a very essential part of your life. So at the end of the day, it is all about balance. How much to give here, how much to give there, not wasting time on a particular thing to sacrifice something that is more important, to set priorities, to set limits, how much to talk to a person, and how much to deal with a particular thing. So once that happens, and it applies in any job, whether private or government, you have actually attained that beautiful thing that is called a life-work balance relationship. Another thing that a leader does is self-improvement. Now, when we are talking about self-improvement, this thing continues throughout life. So once you are out of school does not mean that you will not keep on improving yourself intellectually. Or once you are out of college does not mean that you will not gain any more knowledge regarding anything that you are interested in, or matter of fact, just anything. Knowledge can come in a lot of ways. Like personally, I read the newspaper still. Now, newspapers might be out of work and the readership is going down. I still have a library membership to this day, where I go sit in the library or I get the books from the library and keep on reading. Now, reading is something that will enrich you throughout your lifetime. One hobby that is just not a hobby, it is a mandatory thing. I personally feel you can read anything, whatever you like, but reading is important. It not only enriches your vocabulary, it also gives you knowledge, it gives you wisdom, it tells you about what people do in what situations to learn from their experiences. And that is why when you are talking about personal enrichment, reading obviously comes hand to hand. And another thing that is very mandatory is personal grooming. Now, when we are leaders, people look up to you. So I have like around 3,500 employees reporting to me. So they are constantly watching me. And anytime you are meeting a person, what do you see first? You look at them and you just see the outer experience, the appearance, and how they are projecting themselves. And that is where grooming comes into picture. Now, I am not saying we go for fashion here. Fashion and grooming are two different things. We are talking of presenting yourself in such a way that you project yourself as a person of importance and as a person who is meant to do some business here. So personal grooming is a very, very required thing in today's times. Apart from that, you have to learn to say no. Now, when we say this word, learn to say no, does not mean that you say no. Saying no is one thing. Yes, you should know when to say no. But when I add the word learn to it, that's hold a very important dimension here. सिर्फ ये बोल दिया ना, बिना इसकी सोच करे कि how the person in front will take it is a bad no. Here comes the importance of empathy to the people you are dealing with. You have to learn the ways of how the people will react to your no and mellow it down a little bit so that he accepts your decision, he accepts your no as a decision without taking it to heart or without taking it against you. And that is why the 4 words go, learn to say no and not just say no. And that is very, very important when you move out in your careers in private as well as in government. Having said that, I wish future head boy, head girl and the entire committee all the best, and may you have a very good tenure at Apple Global. Thank you once again, Apple Global, for calling me here. Wishing you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inspiring words.